episode review. Though I got busier and had to switch to this format for these few episodes, I do want to go right back into the regular one once episode 5 does eventually release. Either way, before we truly begin, a few things to note. Background footage is not owned by me, it's from On Nation Cartoons. These are my opinions/analyses. If you have different, that's completely fine. In my videos, I do sections for organization, publicity, everything else, which are the episode 3 review, episode 4 review, and the conclusion. I'll also be adding timestamps in the description in case you just want to see my episode 4 thoughts and vice versa. With everything out there, let's get started.
A little.
You're dead.
Easily the best episode so far of Disventure Camp Season 4. I mean, Disventure Camp sure knows how to make strong starts to it this seasons. So starting off with the challenge, I adored it for one main reason. It teaches us about the characters more, and just expands it there, which is actually pretty rare in terms of the competitions we usually get to see. So I'm appreciating every moment here. Figuring time. Definitely thanks to the challenge, but every character had a chance to shine, even if not so positively. Whether it's Anastasia's reaction to her dare, Zaid's koala tacos, and we cannot forget Logan's. I mentioned this especially since, again, this is another rarity, though I do understand why it isn't implemented too often, especially since some characters see more screen time in dependent episodes, depending on focus and everything there. Arcs. Every character, it seems, has some form of arc to complete, and despite the flaws it brings, I am so grateful for the effort, and it makes each one feel complete. I mainly refer to Amelia here, though we'll talk about her more later. Dynamics. Though some interactions aren't the best, Spencer and Diego, tons are amazing, and I applaud that. Special mentions to Linda and Ted, which really grounds the both of them so well. Tristan, Zaid, and Ivy, wholesome, supportive friend group, and it's such a breath of fresh air for me. And Hannah and Amelia's friendship. I view it personally as like a mother-daughter sort of duo, and I find that pretty wholesome. Anyways, strategy. Some issues with older episodes in Disventure Camp, in my own personal opinion, is certain ones never really focused on any strategy. It never really mattered in the grand scheme of the season or things. This season has done an amazing job so far of making sure the strategy is at the core, tying back to the Vibe Trio, which could Spencer, Linda, Ted, and even an entire character that only does one thing, and that's strategy. Elimination. Wait, it's predictable? It makes sense? It's for the story? Now, these are the eliminations I prefer. Shocking ones are great on a whim, and especially if you can make it sense for the story, that's awesome. But when you have it constantly, the fact that the storyline right now is being prioritized is awesome. Amelia's little speech is sweet, and the fact that Ivy became controversial of a character, at least from what I saw, off of one comment is absolutely wild. All my praises here still do hold. There is a few negatives to the episode, though. Rushed. There was a lot of ground to cover in this episode, and that's proven with some scenes moving at the literal speed of light. The best example of this is Amelia's arc, which I partially think is unavoidable given the nature of the arc and the limited time, but still, there's a lot done extremely fast to get it done and over with, and in a 26 episode season, I do personally think it could have been possible to somewhat fix that. To continue on the Amelia example, she goes through a complete change of heart in 3 episodes, 2 of which she doesn't really get the chance to have much development. Most of it is in 1 episode. All to say, sort of rushed. Spencer, Diego, and Jade. This will be more focused when we get to episode 4 because I'd argue that they're worse there than they are here. Otherwise, starting with the first. Jade tells Spencer to flirt with Diego to distract the entire team to do yoga. We don't see her direct suggestion, but given the aftermath and Spencer blushing, yeah. In canon, what is the reason? I know at a show it's to keep this plot moving. However, Spencer could have asked without flirting, and why would Jade, quite frankly, care? Next episode especially, they're trying to slowly get the crush away, and if that was the goal entirely, why flirt? Why suggest that? And what did she think would happen? Has she not noticed Diego's crush beforehand? And the actual Diego and Spencer scene itself? Not my taste. I know there's 22 more episodes to come, and this plot will absolutely be staying, so there's definitely time to improve, but first impression's sake, no thanks. My character rankings from the episode would go as follows. Number 1, Spencer. Number 2, Ivy. Number 3, Tristan. Number 4, Anastasia. Number 5, Zaid. Number 6, Ted. Number 7, Logan. Number 8, Hannah. Number 9, Isabel. Number 10, Natalia. 11th is Jade. Number 12, Marissa. Number 13, Linda. Number 14, Diego. Number 15, Amelie. Number 16, Richard. And number 17 goes to Benji. This left me extremely excited for the following episode. And how did it fare?
A little.
You're dead.
It was good. I do prefer a few episodes over it. However, it still had its potential and great moments sprinkled throughout. What are those? Interactions. I know I just praised the interactions in the episode 3 review, but dang, this is even better in my opinion. Logan and Anastasia's rivalry, friendship, whatever you want to call it, shines so nicely. All intense interactions are pure gold in this episode. Ivy, which as a Ivy shipper, I think that's the ship name. If I'm wrong, then you can put me in the comments. But getting the first real moment of the two was just really sweet. And then Tristan and Zaid's interaction. I know the quote-unquote death scene was really overdramatic, but as a theater kid, I loved that crap. Except 2 interactions I personally did not like, which, you've seen the episode 3 review or my own previous reviews, you can probably guess which ones those are. Moving on to the unique decisions. There are a few unique writing decisions that this episode is taking the liberty of. I'm not sure if they'll be expanded on later, but I'm just going to discuss them real quick here. So Benji's drama causing. Red Team doesn't really have a direct antagonist on the team itself, so having Benji, just the misunderstood guy, just cause some drama here and there, or at least the majority of it from what we've seen so far, I think it's a really interesting perspective to take rather than a direct antagonist, and I do wonder how that unfolds. I'm sure that's probably going to lead to Benji's untimely elimination within like 3 episodes max, but you know. So Linda this episode, I think the main thing I want to comment on is her ignorance. Could it be direct homophobia? That is definitely a possibility. However, in my own opinion, I do think it's ignorance, especially from how confused she heard when she heard that Richard was gay. So I do think also because she did apologize later. And then the Logan and Anastasia comment came out of nowhere, and I was not the happiest about that because, yeah, not my cup of tea there, but either way, I do think that this idea of a plot is really interesting because we haven't gotten to see it at all, really dived into or mentioned in Disventure Camp Full Drama or any relating shows, at least from what I've seen, so I do am intrigued to see where they do take this plot. The gameplay. This entire episode focuses around the gameplay, and I know I just commented on the strategy, but this episode in particular, you have Spencer, Jay discussing the strategic move of Diego's crush. You also have the idea of the girls and Logan hanging out and the underdogs. It's also interesting, and I really appreciated that strategic focus. The animation and voice acting. The animation and voice acting in the show is always stellar, so well done, and especially for an indie project. I swear, the indie animation bar has been raised over the past few years. I'm so happy to see it happen. It's always so incredible, and I know I didn't comment it on the episode 3. I just wanted to say it for episode 4, but overall, just keep up that animation. The voice actors, and actresses, they all do incredible. Not every writing choice may be the best for the series, or leave it without flaws. What I'm getting at is a transition to the negatives with this episode. Rushed. Again, wow, we're shocked. I think the main thing I want to say on this is Logan's decision to side with the girls. I get it. You needed to show the Logan bonding with the girls. I understand that, but we didn't really get to see why Logan made the decision to side with the girls over the guys, basically at all. We got like one quick confessional, and this could obviously be expanded later, and this critique could be just like really cut out, but me personally, especially since it's just a major decision in the episode and it's the prime cause of the elimination, I really wish we got to really focus on that for even a bit longer. Spencer, Diego, and Jade, except worse. I'm gonna more focus on Diego and Jade because I don't think Spencer's too big of a problem than this. Yeah, whenever he's interacting with Diego, it's annoying, but I mean, I think that's the least of the problems between the trio, so we're just gonna start here. I'm gonna start off with Jade. What is Jade besides strategy? I'd like to hear what other character Jade has had besides strategy such far. She really hasn't. Yes, she had her backstory, and I loved that scene because it really expanded her character and allowed her to become more. But otherwise, we didn't really get to see much of anything besides that. And I get it, there's more episodes coming, there's time for her to expand. But for now, she hasn't gotten to do any of that. And if all she's going to be is the strategic, I personally don't like it. And especially because basically every move she's made benefits Spencer in some way. Yes, Jade originally wanted to keep the idol a secret from Spencer, but she eventually had to tell Spencer anyways about it, so how much does that really count? For instance, getting the idol benefits Spencer because they're allies and Jade can use the idol on Spencer to save him later. When Jade was looking for the idol originally, it benefited Spencer by giving Spencer a moment to talk with her and make that alliance. You see my point here? Every decision Jade is making is benefiting Spencer in some way. I don't know if that's indirect, but my own personal thing, I think it's just to expand the Spencer Diego, whatever you want to call it, moving in the future. And I do hope Jade gets to have a more individual character past that. And even her other moves, like saying for Spencer to flirt with Diego or something like that, it benefits Spencer more. I want her to have more characters, what I'm saying. Diego. When Diego's with Spencer, I don't like him. When he's with literally every other character, I like him. You see my point here, because all Diego is when he's around Spencer is just simping or crush, and I get it. I don't know if it's realistic personally, because I've never seen it personally, but for me, at least on a character level, it doesn't work with me because I want to see Diego be more than that. And why does Diego even like Spencer? Again, we'll probably get the explanation later, but why does he have a crush so early? What interests him about Spencer to make him fall in love with him? Like, what caused it? For instance, Gabby and Ellie. Gabby fell in love with Ellie because Ellie cared for her, saw past flaws, or at least treated her like a person, as she says. But we don't get to see any of that here. None of that, and I do hope we get to improve upon that. And then Spencer just... yeah, the elimination. Now, the elimination does make sense in universe. The girls wanted to target somebody. Ted was the biggest threat. Of course, he goes. I would have liked more expansion on Logan's thing, as mentioned earlier, but fine. Let's just say, makes sense why he sides with the girls. On a story level, what was the reason? Why did we keep Benji in over Ted? That's what I'm curious about. Maybe it's good for the red team drama. That could be it. But my thing is, like, I wonder where all the antagonists this season are, because the only outright one that we've seen is Linda, and I'm worried that with Ted gone, it's going to weaken Linda's character too, because Ted was the person Linda was reasonable with. What I mean is every main villain character has somebody they can show a different side to. With Linda, it was sort of Ted. With Fiore, it was Alec, if that makes any sense. So with Ted gone, that doesn't really work. Again, he could return, I do think could be interesting, but in my personal opinion, I don't know if Ted was the best story-wise to boot, especially when he was causing a lot of drama. He was a unique potential antagonist. There was tons. It does still work as is, and maybe it's a bit of a stretch to put it in negatives, and I should have just put it as suggestions, but still, I really did not want Ted to be eliminated, and that could be it too. Either way, my character rankings after this episode go number 1, Ivy, number 2, Zaid, number 3, Tristan, Vibe Trio making top 3, number 4, Anastasia, number 5, Spencer, number 6, Ted, number 7, Logan, number 8, Hannah, number 9, Isabel, number 10, Natalia, number 11, Marissa, number 12, Jade, number 13, Diego, number 14, Richard, number 15, Linda, number 16, Benji. Despite my own issues with the episode itself, both of these are such strong ways to begin, and again, I still really had a fun time with this episode. Now, let's move right on to the conclusion.
A little?
You're dead!
What were your thoughts on these episodes? I would love to read in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. All and any support on this channel is greatly appreciated. Hope to have you again here. Have an amazing D/night, depending on when you're seeing this.